Today we have a story from Winnie-the-Pooh. In 2019, we did Winnie-the-Pooh at the Wirtz Center for Imagine U. And today that cast and the director, Nate Cohen, and music director, Ben Roberts, have come to you. And they're going to do the story of how Eeyore lost his tail. Enjoy.
Hi, my name is Jay, and I play Winnie-the-Pooh.
Hi, my name is Olivia, and I play Piglet. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, I'm Ruchir, and I play the owl.
Hello there, I'm Felicia, and I play Rabbit. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, my name's Elam, and I play Eeyore. I'm really glad you can join us today.
Hello, my name is Jeb, and I play Kanga. Thanks for being here.
Hi, my name's Juliet, and I play Rue. I hope you enjoy the story.
Hi, my name's Bennett, and I play Christopher Robin. Thanks for watching.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nate, and I'm the director, and thank you for joining us for Imagine U Storytime. I hope you enjoy Winnie-the-Pooh by A.A. Milne. Here is Winnie-the-Pooh, coming downstairs now, bump, bump, bump on the back of his head behind Christopher Robin. It is, as far as he knows, the only way of coming downstairs, but sometimes he feels that there really is another way, if only he could stop bumping for a moment and think of it. And then he feels that perhaps there isn't. Anyhow, here he is at the bottom, and ready to be introduced to you, Winnie-the-Pooh. Sometimes Winnie-the-Pooh likes a game of some sort when he comes downstairs, and sometimes he likes to sit quietly in front of the fire and listen to a story. This evening, what about a story? Asked Christopher Robin. What about a story? I said. Could you very sweetly tell Winnie-the-Pooh one? I suppose I could. I said, what sort of stories does he like? About himself, because he's that sort of bear. Oh, I see. So could you, very sweetly? I'll try, I said. So I tried. This is the story in which Eeyore loses a tail, and Pooh finds a tail.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. On Monday, when the sun is hot, I wonder to myself a lot. Now, is it true or is it not that what is which and which is what? On Tuesday, when it hails and snows, the feeling on me grows and grows that hardly anybody knows that I can almost touch my toes. On Wednesday, when the sky is blue and I have nothing else to do, I sometimes wonder if it's true that who I am is only Pooh. On Thursday, when it starts to freeze and white frost twinkles on the trees, how very readily one sees that I can almost see my knees. On Friday,
the old gray donkey, Eeyore, stood by himself in a thistly corner of the forest, his front feet well apart, his head on one side, and he thought about things. Sometimes he thought sadly to himself, why? And sometimes he thought, wherefore? And even sometimes he thought, inasmuch as which? And sometimes he didn't quite know what to think about. So, when Winnie-the-Pooh came stumping along, Eeyore was very glad to be able to stop thinking for a while, in order to say, how do you do, in a gloomy manner to him. And how are you? Said Winnie-the-Pooh.
Eeyore shook his head from side to side.
Not very how, he said. I don't seem to have felt at all how in a long time.
Dear, dear, said Pooh. I'm sorry about that. But, Eeyore, what's happened to your tail? He said in surprise.
It isn't there,
said Eeyore, and he turned slowly around to the place where his tail had been a little while ago. And then, finding that he couldn't catch it up, he turned round the other way until he came back to where he was at first. And then he put his head down and looked between his front legs, and at last he said with a long, sad sigh,
I believe you're right. That accounts for a good deal. It explains everything. No wonder. Sing woe for the life of a donkey. Sing woe the life of a donkey. It never rains, it always pours. If I ask someone to whisper, he always roars. Sing woe for a donkey. Sing woe for me. Woe.
Pooh felt that he ought to say something helpful about it, but didn't quite know what. So he decided to do something helpful instead. Eeyore, he said solemnly, I, Winnie-the-Pooh, will find your tail for you. Thank you, Pooh, answered Eeyore. You're a real friend, said he. Not like some. So Winnie-the-Pooh went off to find Eeyore's tail. It was a fine spring morning in the forest as he started out. Little soft clouds played happily in a blue sky, skipping from time to time in front of the sun as if they had come to put it out, and then sliding suddenly away so that the next might have his turn.
Through them and between them the sun shone bravely, and through the woods marched Bear, down open slopes of gorse and heather, over rocky beds of streams, up steep banks of sandstone, into the heather again. And so at last, tired and hungry, to the 100-acre wood. For it was in the 100-acre wood that Owl lived.
And if anyone knows anything about anything, said Bear to himself, it's Owl who knows something about something, he said. Or my name's not Winnie-the-Pooh, he said. Which it is, he added. So there you are.
Owl lived at the Chestnuts, an old-world residence of great charm, which was grander than anybody else's, or seemed so to Bear, because it had both a knocker and a bell pull. Underneath the knocker, there was a notice which said, "Please ring if an answer is required." Underneath the bell pull, there was a notice which said, "Please knock if an answer is not required." Winnie-the-Pooh read the two notices very carefully. Then, to make quite sure, he knocked and pulled the knocker, and he pulled and knocked the bell rope, and he called out in a very loud voice, "Owl, I require an answer! It's Bear speaking." And the door opened, and Owl looked out.
"Hello, Pooh," he said. "How's things?"
"Terrible and sad," said Pooh, "because Eeyore, who is a friend of mine, has lost his tail, and he's moping about it. So could you very kindly tell me how to find it for him?"
"Well," said Owl, "the thing to do is as follows. First, issue a reward," said Owl very loudly. "We write a notice to say that we will give a large something to anybody who finds Eeyore's tail. We write out this notice, and we put it up all over the forest."
Owl went on and on, using longer and longer words. As Owl talked on and on, Pooh looked and looked at the bell rope and the notice below it. And the more he looked at the bell rope, the more he felt that he had seen something like it somewhere else sometime before.
"Handsome bell rope, isn't it?" said Owl. Pooh nodded. "It reminds me of something, but I can't think what. Where did you get it, Owl?" "Well, I just came across it in the forest. It was hanging over a bush, so I thought someone lived there. So I rang it, and nothing happened. So I rang it again very loudly, and it came off in my hand. And nobody seemed to want it, so I just took it and..." "Owl," said Pooh solemnly, "you made a mistake. Someone did want it. Someone wanted it very badly. Eeyore, my dear friend Eeyore, he was attached to it," said Winnie-the-Pooh sadly.
So with these words he unhooked it and carried it back to Eeyore. And when Christopher Robin had nailed it on its right place again, Eeyore frisked about the forest, waving his tail so happily that Winnie-the-Pooh came over all funny, and had to hurry home for a little snack of something to sustain him. And wiping his mouth half an hour afterwards, he sang to himself proudly, "Who found the tail?" "I," said Pooh. At 1:45, only it was 11:15, really, "I found the tail."
Sing ho for the life of a donkey.
Sing ho for the life of a bear.
It never rains, it always shines, 'cause I got a lot of honey in my house in the pines.
I don't much care if it snows or thaws, 'cause I got a lot of honey on my nice clean paws.
Sing ho for a donkey.
Sing ho for a donkey. Sing ho for a bear. Sing ho for a bear.
Dum 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 doo ah dum 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 doo ah dum 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 doo ah dum 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 doo. Sing ho for the life of you.
And what happened next? Asked Christopher Robin. When? Next day. I don't know. Could you think and tell me and Pooh sometime? If you wanted it very much. Pooh does, said Christopher Robin. He gave a deep sigh, picked his bear up by the leg, and walked off to the door, trailing Winnie-the-Pooh behind him. At the door he turned and said, "Coming to see me have my bath?" "I might," I said. He nodded and went out, and in a moment I heard Winnie-the-Pooh, bump, 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 going up the stairs behind him.